Welcome to episode 52 of TerrorVision Horror Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Dan McGuinness. And joining me on the Midnight Meat Train is my co-host, Jennifer, the Warrior Strand. This has got written in there, not Dream Warrior.
Toot.
Toot. Got that wrong. Every week we take one horror movie and we cut it to pieces with our internet words. Together, we are two people with a love of horror and feel the burn of our obsolete Blockbuster / Movieland memberships. I'd just like to thank all of our listeners over on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Breaker, Castbox, Google Podcasts, Radio Public, and the YouTube. We love you and thank you for supporting us. And also a shout out to the people who interact with us over on our socials that help us to grow and all that crap. Mm-hmm. People like, I don't know how to say his name, Amund Philmore Humpington. Is that a real name?
I don't know.
Daniel J. Cross, who is the creator of Starblaze. Look it up on the old Instagrams. Adam Gillespie, Dion Cracknell, and Bryn Phillips, the old threesome. Thank you very much for supporting us and interacting with us over the past week. If you would like to do that as well, go over to our Facebook page or our Instagram, sign up, and then hit likes, comment, etc., etc., etc. Do it.
Yeah.
This week, we don't really have much of a fun fact. Our fun fact is that both of us bought Resident Evil Village, and that's all we did this week.
Pretty much. I mean, I had a pretty busy week at work, but my car broke down, so I had yesterday off, and after doing about an hour's worth of work, I played Resident Evil for the rest of the day.
I can't believe you're further in it than me. I thought you'd be like, I'm getting 1 minute a day to play.
No, well, yep. Thank God for the good old car breaking down.
Are you into it, the game?
Oh, I'm so into it. This is so much fun.
I know. It's quite a fun game. And I get scared. It's not as scary as 7. But I do have jump scares and stuff. And it's very well done. It knows what you expect of Resident Evil. And it's going okay, let's just twist it around a bit.
Yeah.
For those who have played 7, it's very much like 7, but 4 times as much as 7.
Yes.
In my opinion.
It's 100% super good fun.
Without giving anything away.
And I'm loving it.
Yeah, and there's some nice twists and turns. And they realise... I like the shopkeeper. Mm-hmm. I like that he says he says a line from the shopkeeper in Resident Evil 4.
Okay.
It's in the guy's voice. He goes, I'm just making out to be one of my friends. He says it. Because the shopkeeper in Resident Evil 4 was a real funny thing. Because it was that dude. He goes oh, I got wares for you or whatever. And he'll be in the most ridiculous places. You've just climbed a mountain, fought 1,000 zombies, done these intricate puzzles, gone out to this cliff face, and he'd just be standing there. He goes, what'll it be?
Hi, guys.
Yeah.
Just hanging, just happy to be here.
Yeah, but the shopkeeper in this one's great. And he's part of the story, which I like as well. He's not just there, and he helps you out and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can trust him.
No, I wouldn't trust him. I will trust him as far as I can throw him, which isn't very far because he's a heavy-set fella.
He does have quite a bit of girth on him. All right, so let's move. This is going to be a quick... We're going to try and get through this one. So let's move straight into our spoiler cast part of the show. Every week, Jennifer and I set ourselves a horror movie to watch, and then we go through it scene by scene and spoil the fuck out of it for the world. It's a deep dive into glorious gore, hard edits, cheesy acting, directing madness, severed wangs, and compound fractures. We have a rating system, so you're not left with just your dick in your hand at the end. You'll know what you've heard, and... Jen, what is it?
Yeah, all right. So get your dick out of your hands, guys, because we have A is awesome, everybody should watch. B is our beer and chicken wing group movie. F is for fun and dumb. C is a classic that's worth a watch. U is underrated. G, good for its time but is not held up. J, Jen special. The D, Dan special. We've got a W, which is whatever. Poufwa. We've also got the Kesha, the low budget hot mess. C minus, craft is stellar but I hate the content. And finally, the cream of the crap. We watched it so you don't have to. The McConaughey, the fucking fucked.
Oh, and this week we watched my pick.
Yep.
We watched Cloverfield from 2008. Mm-hmm. This. Now that I've watched it, I'm like, is it a horror movie? Yes, it is. There are elements of it that are very horror. There are elements
of horror. It's more of a sci-fi thriller.
Like a monster movie.
But yeah, you had me a monster movie, so...
Yeah, done.
Yeah, right.
Godzilla's a horror movie.
Yeah.
Or some shit.
I'm okay with that.
What are its vital statistics?
All right, so it is directed by Matt Reeves, who directed the Let Me In remake, and he's directing the Pattinson Batman movie that's coming out next year.
Oh, Let Me In. That was Let the Right One In remake.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know why they didn't call it the same
I
thing.
don't know. Who knows?
I actually enjoyed the remake a little bit more than the original.
Same.
Yeah.
Same.
Because it had just some cool bits in it that the first one didn't have.
Yeah.
But it still had the same vibe as the first one. I mean, the original. But yeah.
Exactly. Screenplay is Drew Goddard, who we know he wrote The Cabin in the Woods. And he also wrote The Martian, which
That was all right.
was a really good film.
Yeah. That was the one with, like, what's his name? Matt Damon on the
Matt
mess.
Damon.
Matt Damon
Growing
on mess.
potatoes with his poop. Yep. It stars Mike Vogel, Jessica Lucas as Lizzie Kaplan, and TJ Miller in his acting debut.
Oh, for those who don't know who TJ Miller is, he is, what was his name? Elric? He's Elric, whatever his name is, in Silicon Valley. He's one of the main characters in Silicon Valley. He's like the dickhead.
He's
the most annoying guy ever.
He plays the same guy in everything because he's in Deadpool as well. He's like Deadpool's buddy. And he plays just the same character.
Apparently, the annoying person that he plays is who he is in real life, and that's why he's not very...
I would hate that.
Yeah. Yeah. Ooh.
Budget. This is a good one. $25 million budget. Box office, $172.4 million.
There you go.
Holy fuck.
Do you want to know why? This was the first time someone put money towards a found footage film.
Yeah.
This is like, real movie money, effort put into a found footage. This isn't Blair Witch. This isn't another one. I can't think of another one.
Cannibal Holocaust.
No, that's not found footage.
Oh, yeah. Technically. It gets there.
Oh, does it? Does it have bits in it? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, cannibal
Yeah.
Cannibal colonism.
Sure.
So we've moved our fun facts section to the end of the film because we realise it doesn't have any meaning, some of those facts, unless you know what's happened in the film. So at the end, that will be part of our final thoughts. What's the synoppo? And it's a tagline.
Oh, the tagline. Something has found us.
Oh dear.
Oh, 5 young New Yorkers throw their friend a going-away party the night that a monster the size of a skyscraper descends upon the city. Told from the point of view of their video camera, the film is a document of their attempt to survive the most surreal, horrifying events of their lives.
Well, that kind of gives it away. What?
Yeah. And that was the podcast. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next week.
So we open. It opens, as all good films do, with just a DV tape, as in the old video camera DV cassette tape color bands.
Yes.
With the US Department of Defense watermark over it, is it? Something like that, or
yeah, it's camera retrieved at incident site. Oh my lord.
My microphone just fell off.
Oh no.
And in the theme of found footage, my microphone just fell down and I've just had to put it back up. So continuing on.
Yep. It in the watermark it states camera retrieved at incident site US 447, formerly known as Central Park.
Formerly known as Central Park. So yeah, it's got a whole bunch of bloop and stuff like that. It's it says also in there digital SD card, multiple sightings of case designated in brackets Cloverfield.
Yeah.
Which means nothing.
No, we know nothing about that. There is a cut. So this all on the camera to this beautiful apartment overlooking Central Park. The date timestamp on the camera is April 27, 6:42 a.m.
Now, the timestamp in this film actually is quite important because that's part of the genius of this film. So the genius of this film, in my opinion, is that because it is the theory of this film is that it's one cassette tape.
Yeah.
It's the film itself is the actual length of a DV tape, not a second, minute or less. So supposedly you're watching a full length, uncut version of this tape. Unfortunately, it's been taped over a couple of times, but you see segments of the stuff that was underneath, which tells the backstories of some of the characters because that was the tape. And I think that's great. It's such a good idea. So yes, this is April 27th, 6:42 a.m. And we are being filmed, we have our main character, Rob. Is it Rob?
Yep.
We have Rob, he's filming, and he's walking around his girlfriend's house. No.
It's either his or his girlfriend's house.
It's not his girlfriend. It's just he's walking around her house. It's Beth's house.
Yes.
He walks into the bedroom. This is all as in point of view. This whole movie is POV.
Yeah.
Wakes her up and she's like, oh, hello.
Yeah, we get a lot of this weird, cute, romantic kind of interaction, which only really happens in the first, 4 months of being with someone, and then it goes away.
Yeah, she wakes up and I've actually accidentally called him Stephen here, but that's not his name.
No, that's all right. So we get this a brief cut in the film as well, and then they're now eating breakfast in bed, and they're talking about Coney Island, going to Coney Island, having a day together.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
And then it cuts to May 22nd.
Yeah.
Which is a month after that time. And we see Rob's brother. He has now got the camera. He is now pointing the camera at his girlfriend. They're walking in the street, and he's just picked up the camera. Mm-hmm. So he's just kind of testing it out, and this is how they introduce two more characters.
Jason and Lily.
Yeah, Jason and Lily. So Jason is the brother's name, and Lily is the brother's girlfriend.
Jason's girlfriend.
Yeah, Jason.
Yeah.
And they're walking, and she's talking about, I want you to film the party. I want you to go around and do testimonials. And he's all like, oh, what? Do I have to do that? And she's like, don't ruin this, you dickhead.
Yeah, basically. Pretty much. She's really hardlining him, and, she's like, you've got to do this. And that's where we sort of find out that the camera doesn't belong to them. It belongs to the brother. So they're potentially
giving them an excuse of why these people would have a video camera filming something. Which makes sense to me.
Yeah, no, it does. And then we get this cut. They sort of go into,
and then again, he agrees in the end to tape that she's quite adamant, and then
she's a scary kind of gal.
Yeah,
kind of.
She's like Scary Spice.
Yeah, pretty much. It's basically as soon as they get to the party and they're at the party, they're setting up the party. So we're introduced to a new character who's pinning up a banner, and his name is Hud and
Hudson.
Yep. Yes, and
he's
Jason,
played by T.J. Miller.
Yep. Jason passes off the camera, and he's like, man, I got a job for you. I need you to go around the party, and I need you to take testimonials from everyone. And he's just like, oh, what's that? And he explains it, and he's like, okay.
So Hud's a bit of an idiot, and he basically just passes his job on. Even though his girlfriend, Lily, has asked him specifically for him to do it, he has passed the job on to Hud.
Yes. Which, as soon as she finds out...
And they're putting up, congratulations, Rob posters. Yeah. There's people there and we can assume that it's a surprise party for Rob, who was the guy that was originally filming with Beth at the start, a month earlier.
Yeah.
And they're taping over that footage right now.
Yeah. So as soon as Lily finds out that Hud's doing the job, she starts complaining about, you need to take this seriously, because... Jason was meant to be doing this. You're not going to take this seriously. You're a bit of a shit around kind of guy. And as, she starts giving her lovely farewell speech to Rob, her lovely testimonial, a new character.
Yeah, because he's like, no way, I can totally do this. Why don't you do your testimonial now? And then she's like, okay. And she starts doing it. Yeah.
Yeah. But of course, new character, Marlena, walks in and is clearly...
Hud likes her.
So
she walks in the background instead of filming Lily's testimony, who just zooms in on her.
Yep. So he just starts going off onto her, and then Lily is once again super fucking annoyed, and we get a cut.
And we get jump cuts in this point, with time going on quite rapidly. We see that at first the party was getting set up, and then it's kind of people arriving, and then the party is kind of in full swing. Rob is not there yet, so it's kind of it's a bit weird, I thought, having an hour or two of party before your mate gets there. You think the party would start as soon as he gets there.
Yeah.
No, they're kind of partying before he even gets there.
It's just something to do.
We worked out as well that from Hud comes up to Marlena and kind of hassles her.
I like this as well because you just see him filming her from a bit of a distance. He's like, come, you can do this. You could just go up there, you just go talk to her, it'll be fine. And then he walks over and he's like, nope, and just starts talking to this other rando guy. And then he eventually swings around, he mans up, and he starts talking to her. And she just seems to be a bit of a bitch.
Yeah, she is pretty sour, her character. But she is very realistically just one of those bitter at everything kind of I've been hurt once, therefore I hate the world.
Yeah, pretty much. And she's just I don't know him. I've met him a couple of times. I'm just here to say hi to her. I've got to go meet my friends. She does not really want to do this. And he's just come on, just he's not willing to give up. So she starts to give this really super awkward sort of hey, we've met 3 times. Good luck.
You got a great job. You're going to Japan. So Rob's obviously going to Japan for work. All right, anyhow, The party is like cranking, waiting for Rob to come home. We get like lots of quick cuts of people just like,
Yeah.
There's like
It's a standard party.
it's like the 90s, like the gorillas are playing in the back. You can hear all these like 90s tunes like playing like in each cut, like a different song. Like it's very party like and it feels real.
Kings of Leon, all this shit.
Yeah, a lot of people actually got sick and left this film.
Yes.
Yeah, it's one of the fun facts. Like a lot of them in the test screening.
Oh, my lord.
I'm fine with found footage films because I find if it starts to feel sicky, I kind of just look away and just listen.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that's cool.
Yeah, no,
Maybe it's because I'm a video editor as well, so it doesn't bother me.
That could be why. Yeah.
Anyhow, Rob comes in. Everyone's like, surprise! He's like, oh no, I don't know what's going to happen.
What are you talking about? Spooch. And then he stands there and he starts to like...
he's in like a business suit because he's just come home from work.
He always businessman.
Generally shocked. Yeah. You don't know what he does. Whatever his work does, he's being repositioned to Japan.
Yeah.
So he's like, that's pretty good. Yeah, there's all these shots of him mingling with people, having some chats and stuff like that.
Yeah, and then Rob's there and he starts asking after Beth.
He comes up to HUD. So he's like to the camera. He's like, is Beth coming? And then like HUD's like, yeah, I suppose so. Why wouldn't she come? And at that point, you get the idea that this is their tight little group of friends. You've got like HUD, Beth, Lily, and Rob and Stephen. Stephen? Jason.
Yeah.
Who's Stephen?
I don't know where you got Stephen.
I don't know either. And that's their kind of little group. And only officially Jason and Lily are together. So
I really like this little, there was a very, very quick interaction between HUD and another character where he's like, oh, what are you going to do without Rob? He's like your main man. And HUD just turns to Rob as he's
your
walking.
main dude.
He's like, dude, what am I going to do? He's like, I don't know what you're going to do without me. I'm your main dude. I'm like, yes.
Yeah, it's funny. Anyhow, we get a shot of seeing from a distance Beth rocking up and with a rando guy who looks like Darlene's boyfriend from Roseanne.
It's the guy from Superstore.
What's that?
If you've ever watched Superstore, which you should because it's fantastic. I hate that guy. I don't like the actor at all, but I was just like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, so he's kind of like... And then,
it's a new guy. So Rob's clearly upset by this.
But they're not together and no one thinks they've ever been together, so... Yeah, but there's massive tension between Rob and Beth now, so they're talking like...
Yep, so HUD's kind of keeping an eye on them.
And Beth is amazingly good looking.
She is.
It's like too good looking.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Rob, she's too good for you.
I thought Rob was good looking.
Meh.
He's the best looking guy in the film.
Meh.
You like Stephen better?
No, none of them.
Stephen doesn't exist. That was my joke.
Oh no, I missed the joke. So HUD's keeping an eye on them from a distance, and he's just like, he's kind of just secretly filming Rob sitting in the corner having a real big sulk.
Yeah, he's like shattered. He's like sipping a beer, kind of sulking, watching Beth and the new boyfriend.
Yeah.
And her boyfriend.
Yeah.
And he's like,
So HUD goes over and he starts talking to him, and Rob sort of realizes, like, dude.
Is that my camera?
Is that my camera? Did you switch the tape? And then we get this quick cut and then a cut straight back.
Yeah, so obviously HUD has like gone, I don't know. And he stopped recording and looked at the footage that was on there and then started recording again. And that's how we're getting these little cuts in between. And it shows like 1 second of Beth and Rob going to Coney Island together, like on the train. Like it's like, yeah.
It's a split
from that month ago footage. So you're like, okay, so something happened. They had their moment. They finally... It's like, they must have liked each other forever. They finally got together.
Yeah.
And then he's taping over it. But then also, Rob just kind of goes, fuck it. Doesn't matter anyway because he's having a fucking sookie la-la.
He is. He's having a real big sook. So HUD then he decides, well, he's going to now go and approach Beth because he wants to get...
A testimonial
from her, but maybe just a little bit more information. She seems very apprehensive. She really doesn't want to do it. Of course, she gives this really, like, awkward...
Well, she kind of makes her boyfriend, the guy she comes in, she goes, can you go get me a drink? And then she takes HUD into the kitchen and goes, let's just not do this here.
Yeah.
And she starts doing this, testimonial. It's like...
I'm happy for you.
Great job.
I'm going to miss you. It's awkward.
Even though you're not here.
Yeah.
And then Rob comes in.
Yes.
And basically, halfway through a testimonial, and he interrupts going, can I speak to you? I want to speak to you outside. Yeah. And she's like, oh, okay. So they go out into the hall, like outside the party, and basically HUD peers around, still filming. And you can see that they're arguing.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. She's like, well, you're going away. Like, what am I going to do? Like, blah, blah, blah.
Exactly. You know, what are you going to do? Lily finds Hud, pulls him away, and then...
She's like, don't film them arguing.
Yeah, it's like they're having a conversation. And then Jason and Hud get the hot goss. Like, they get what's happening.
Well, they realise that Lily knows what's going on.
Yeah.
And, like, so Rob... names. Hud and... Jason, start hassling Lily, going, you know what's going on. Tell us. And she, like, spills the beans. She goes, like, Rob and Beth got together about a month ago.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, my God.
They totally hooked up.
They finally did it. And she's like, don't tell anyone, Hud.
And the next scene is literally Hud going to everybody at the party going, hey, did you know that Rob and Beth, like, totally slept together?
Yeah, so he's, like, filming himself, blowing at himself. So, like...
But they make so many comments about Hud throughout the movie about him always being the guy that kind of blows it or, exaggerates the story just a little bit. So he's not someone that they readily believe when he tells them something.
And then we get, like, kind of the scene where Beth is like, you know what, I'm going to go home.
Yeah, she comes back in, she grabs Travis, and they bounce.
Travis is the bad guy. I mean, the new boyfriend.
He's the boyfriend.
And, there's some, like, darty comments thrown out, like, as she's leaving, like... She's like, good luck in Japan, Rob. And then he's like, good luck tonight, Travis.
Yeah. Oh.
That is such a dodgy thing to say, hey?
Yeah.
In the most green envy motherfucking way.
Rude. That's some high school level shit right there. So Rob goes and he locks himself in his bedroom. And then Jason and Hud go on in there and they start to...
Yeah, Lily's like, go in there and speak to him. You're his best fucking friend.
You're his best friend. You're his brother. Go bro down.
Yeah, and now they go out onto the fire escape
and
sit down with some beers and have, like, a DM bro chat. And it's just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're all, like, trying to make him feel better. Like, man, she's too good for you. You know, that kind of thing. Like, trying to lighten up the situation. And they're having a little chat. And it's kind of going...
But you got to go get it.
And up to the point in this film, like, I remember seeing this film in the cinema. I saw it in the cinema. I didn't know what it was. Mm-hmm. I just went to watch it because I had free tickets. Up to this point, you're like, this is pretty realistic. I like this bit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind this. This is found footage. And up to this point, I think I'd only seen Blair Witch.
Yep.
Which doesn't really deliver. Like...
Really?
Nah.
Oh, man, I love
I love it. And I love what it is. And I love the concept. And I know that it's always hard to be the first people to do something. But in the end, I was like... I kind of wanted something more out of Blair Witch.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Mm-hmm. But I understand. Like, there was no budget in that film. There was just some people, like, trying a concept that they didn't even know was going to be as... create a whole genre of film. So they're out in the fire escape. They're hanging out. They're broing out, and suddenly we hear a boom.
Yeah, it's like this deep rumble.
It's like an earthquake, and we hear like in the distance, like fire alarms going off, dogs start barking, and they're like, "Oh fuck, what the fuck was that?" It's not like the world's ended or anything. It's just like. It could have been like an explosion. It could have been like an earthquake. And like they fucking run inside. The whole party's like, whoa, what the fuck was that? Everyone's looking at the TV and there's a news report on and they're like...
Yeah, so it's a possible earthquake and an oil tanker has capsized just off Liberty Island. And so everyone decides for some reason, let's all go to the roof.
Yeah, well, they're in... So this film is set in Manhattan.
Yeah.
Which is... I've never been there. I don't know. But I think Manhattan is just like an island. That's like connected with bridges. Mm-hmm. Is that right? Like
it's like
in
Gotham.
New York?
In the Batman.
Oh.
There's like two bridges out of
town. Is Gotham
town.
based on Manhattan?
Maybe.
Because it is pretty a dark, dank city.
Maybe.
So I've heard. Anyhow. They...
Yeah, so everyone starts to sort of clamber up the stairs to go to the roof.
Yeah, because they say, oh man, that's just down the road. We should go to the roof and see if we can see what's going on. Which does make sense. I would do that.
And so many times in the background, there are a lot of people being like, is this another terrorist attack? Is this another terrorist attack?
Do they say that?
Yeah.
Oh.
So many times throughout this film, people just screaming about it.
What year was this? How long was this after the old 9/11?
So this was 2008.
When was Nino's?
2000?
So it's still 8 years after it, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not... Yeah. Anyway, they all go up to the roof and they can see helicopters flying around. This is all very found footagey. We got some people panicking and stuff. What's going on? And it's kind of that thing, when the party eventually goes out into the street. It feels like that. So everyone's kind of just chatting in little groups and stuff like that. And then we see, like, on the horizon, on one of the buildings, we see a big explosion. And it looks great. Like, this is like... As in, like, it looks like that maybe a bomb has gone off, or maybe some sort of a gas main has exploded into a big kind of mushroom cloud of flame.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, whoa! And then we see coming out of this explosion are massive, like, meteorites of debris on flame.
So despite the fact that they are a fair distance away,
that'd be
there's
like
still shit coming at them.
New York blocks away from them.
Yeah.
And then this goes into the first panic mode of where people start to get sick. So that suddenly everyone starts running, and it's a running effect on a video camera, which is quite sickening. But like, because it's like so much panic and the camera's getting knocked, old DV cameras used to glitch.
Yes.
So there's like and all the glitches with the artifact on the screen. Every time there's a glitch, it moves the story along a lot quicker. So now they're suddenly on the street.
Yeah, they've gone from the roof down the stairs into the street, and everyone's kind of like trying to find everyone else. They're all panicking, and then we see something from a distance.
There's lots of people on the street as well,
like
and because all the power's gone out.
Yeah, so
in like everywhere.
Everyone in the neighborhood's basically in the streets now, and from the distance we see something thrown.
We just see a big fucking wad of something that
just comes.
It goes. You hear it going, whoo, 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 and it hits a building like about a block away.
Yep.
And ricochets off that, and then smashes down in front of
just kind of rolls in the street in front of them.
And it slams there, and it skids to a halt, and then the camera kind of focuses, and you realise it's the head of the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah.
Do you know one of the fun facts in this film? Is that they did this originally as part of one of the trailers.
Yep.
And they made the head exactly the size that the Statue of Liberty's head is. And everyone went, that's too small.
Yeah, no, that was to scale, guys.
Yes.
But because people complained about it, they had to make it bigger.
Yeah, so in this one, the head is actually 4 times bigger than the real Statue of Liberty's head. Because remember in Ghostbusters, they were in the head? That's not how big it is, eh?
No.
I mean, I think only like a person could fit in the head.
Possibly.
Like, it's not heaps big.
It's not heaps big, no.
Yeah, it's weird, eh? I always figured it's like this Titan-sized fucking head. Like
if it came to life.
Kratos would have to fight it if it came alive.
Sure. So everyone starts gathering around the head. They start taking photos.
Instagramming it, TikToking it to lemonade.
Definitely. And then in the distance, we sort of see something moving between the buildings. And as that happens, the Woolworth building, which is one of the big...
I thought it was the Empire State Building.
No, it's the
Is that
Woolworth
even
building.
on
so
Manhattan?
it's one of the original skyscrapers that was first built.
Woolies.
Yeah, Woolies. That comes crashing down.
And that looks great. And so we see it's like a building collapsing in footage, street level, and you just see the cloud coming down. As we've seen with the 9/11, we learnt about the cloud. I don't think anyone knew.
No.
Everyone just thought that a building would fall down, and it would fall down. But there's
all the dust and shit and everything that goes with it. So a lot of the group head straight into the
deli
convenience store that's just across the road, and they take cover as the dust and debris just engulfs the streets.
It's going through, and we hear like screaming and yelling. The lights are shaking. Everything's going on and off. It's screaming. It's fucking wicked. And then we also hear like a boom, 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 and people yelling and screaming and and whatever.
And HUD starts like in the background. He's just like, I saw it. It's alive. I saw it. And as he's saying that, like, no, everyone's kind of like, look how hard. We hear this like these growls and kind of animalistic sounds, which aren't like necessarily recognizable, but
then the boom basically happens directly outside the deli, which blows in all the windows and stuff, and we get a bit more of that glitchiness with the camera because those cameras can't handle
anything
that shit. And then it cuts to like kind of the aftermath. So everyone, so who's with them now? They're all together still, aren't they?
Yeah, they're all still together.
So now we've got Milena. No,
not yet. So Jason goes to the door to see, like, he's going to go outside and have a look, and they're like, don't go, and then they all just go.
They'll just go out. So they're out in the street now.
That's where they then find Melina, and she's kind of just standing there in this shock. She's just covered in dust.
And the whole vibe of the street now, it's just quiet.
Yeah.
And there's like there's dust just coming down. There's dust covered everything, and it's like the after effects of like a war has just gone through in like 1 second. Like an actual looks like it reminds you of Afghanistan or something like that. What I envision it would be like after a bombing in Afghanistan. There's like dirt everywhere, dust. No one knows what's going on.
Lots of ash coming from the sky.
It's like it's like it's snowing, but it's ash and and dust and stuff. It's great, and all this is done like it looks like it's this steady shot. And like, how is this for a found footage? Like, this is what I mean. This is like gigantic set pieces of city blocks set up to like this thing with millions of not millions, but like, hundreds of extras all acting out as if this is happening. And I remember just being like, oh man, this is found fucking footage.
Yeah, well, I mean, the fact that it came out like 8 years after 9/11, but I feel for a few people, for a lot of people that were there at the time and have experienced this, probably watched this and went, oh, that's just some PTSD I didn't know I had.
Yeah, because it might have been sounding like roars and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, look at, prime example, look at the bomb and Godzilla with what it did to Japan. The bomb, that's still affecting all their films. Like Godzilla was a direct knee-jerk reaction to the destruction of the nuclear bomb, wasn't it? Like, in that kind of, I mean, there's essays and essays and essays on this stuff, and I've lightly, read one sentence about it.
You just check the first paragraph on Wikipedia.
No, I just read like the title of the article, and that's how I get all my news.
Yeah, that's more than I do.
Yeah, so this is obviously kind of like a love letter to that almost, I reckon. Like this is the effects of filmmaking on after 9/11. Yeah. Might not be. I might just be bullshitting.
No, it seems very accurate. I will agree with you on that.
There's also lots of fire around.
Yeah.
Because, why not? And they run into Melina. She's covered in dust. She's like...
Yeah,
she's like, it was eating people. And I'm like, would it have been? I don't think it would have been,
It's quite... We
don't know what it was.
We don't know what it is. HUD's there and he's like, I have it on tape. We get this sort of rewind. So then we get cut back to April 27 and then cuts back again. And they're just like, this makes no sense, but we need to leave. We need to get out. We need to head to the Brooklyn Bridge. We can get out of the city that way. Let's just go.
I was watching this with my mum and they're like, why would they go to a bridge? I'm like, because they're on an island, Mum. You have to get off of it.
Oh, that makes sense. And I think that's where Melina was like, it was eating people.
Yeah.
So then we get this another shot and it's masses of people. Like
we
are talking the
exodus.
Whole neighborhood. Everyone, blocks of people are just walking towards the bridge. Everyone's talking about the phones. Like their phones aren't working. There's no signal. We see medics in the background. They're loading up, screaming people into ambulances. You've got cops there just moving people along. Like if you aren't hurt, you just keep moving. Do not stop. Keep moving.
And always, I remember looking at this part in when I was watching it the first time. I was like looking like, oh, what? You're fully just searching for information in every kind of shot of what's going on. It's really interesting and it really puts you at ground level of what, people wounded, people screaming and like just walking along the street, just seeing all these people's lives affected and all these little tiny pockets of drama playing out. It was just so fucking rad.
So then you've got these helicopters that they're directing people across the bridge. Do not stop. Keep moving.
And if you know the Brooklyn Bridge, it's like it's in two parts. So there's walking parts on top.
One for walking, one for driving.
Yeah, so the walking one goes over the top of the drive. But the walking part is just completely jam-packed.
There is pretty much everyone has descended on this bridge
All
to
Manhattan
get out.
is leaving in one go.
Yeah. We get this shot of the HUD turns and you see the Statue of Liberty and then you see the oil tanker on fire and Rob sort of turns to HUD and he's like, are you still filming? And he's like, yeah, someone's got to document this. Someone needs to know.
People will need to know how it went down.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
And then we're like, okay, the one sentence of why the whole film exists, and I can accept that. So he's grasped onto this thing. There's nothing left to do. Mm-hmm. I've got nothing else. I may as well document this for people to know what's going on. And I'm like, yeah, cool. I mean, I still find found footage films to not quite get that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you just would stop after a while.
There's a very fine line.
Once your life's in danger, you wouldn't sit there trying to get a good shot.
Yeah. No, exactly.
Unless you've got a head cam, and I reckon that will be the next one.
The body cams.
Yeah, there could be a police one or something like that.
It'll just be called body cam.
Bod cam.
Yeah. So Rob's phone starts to ring, and it's Beth.
But it's super loud
Yeah.
because, there's millions of there's helicopters
he can't hear
going on. So
anything.
he tries to...
He sort of moves off to the side to like, can you hear me now?
And he kind of climbs up onto the edge of the bridge or just
Yeah.
trying to get some better signal and stuff.
But
And
because everybody is moving
surging.
around them, they're starting to get pulled apart and separated. So Jason, he ends up further down. Hud's
with Rob and Lily's in between everyone kind of thing. But
Yeah.
it's more like Rob, Lily and Hud are kind of together, and Jason just got surged forward into the crowd, which is Rob's brother.
Yeah,
in case
and
you're trying to remember
he's sort of trying to get back, but he can't. It's kind of like
But then
he's just being washed away. Like my eyes, the people do nothing.
And then we can slightly hear like Rob gets through to Beth, and he's like, "Where are you? Where are you?" And he's like, "What do you mean you can't move? Like what's going on?" So we, so obviously something's wrong with Beth.
Yeah. So there's something going on there. He can't quite understand, but it doesn't matter because we hear this absolutely big growl, and then
And then panic breaks out, obviously.
Yep. So panic starts happening, and we see this tail come out of the water, and then it just hits the bridge.
Well, we don't even know what it is.
No.
It's just like...
Well, it's something very large
skin.
and phallic. Hits the bridge
It's clearly an alien way.
right where he's just like, oh, that's
Yeah, we
better.
see it come up kind of thing, and it just slams down.
Yeah.
Onto everyone and pancakes everyone onto the bridge, smashes the bridge, but it also smashes Jason.
Yes.
It's okay because he will just go to the bottom of the river and come back because he's eternal because he's Jason.
That's right. Everybody starts running back in the opposite direction as the bridge starts to very quickly collapse.
This is fucking... How's this footage? So we've got this like point of view footage of this bridge collapsing, and you got of him running, and you're hearing and seeing the side of the bridge kind of waving
Well,
and
it's
moving.
got all the sound as well, so the creaking of the steel as well, like...
Yeah, and like the big steel cables that are holding, you can hear them snapping and going...
Yeah.
And... And it has this bit where he gets off, he looks back, and you see the bridge, and it's like it's water. It's like wave. It's got like a wave going down itself, and then it totally collapses down. And it looks crazy.
Yeah.
And you're like, found fucking footage.
Yep.
I know.
It looks fantastic. So they all run. They sort of get to a clear area, and they all catch up with each other, and Lily is absolutely in hysterics.
Yeah, her boyfriend's just died, and
boyfriend's
Rob
just
is in
died.
shock because his brother's just died.
Yep, nothing's happening. But then, of course, you see people start looting shops. So people just start breaking into stores. Hud sort of becomes the voice of reason in a way, and he's like, look, we've got to get moving. We have to move.
Everyone's in shock
We
apart
need
from him,
to,
yeah.
like, we could try the Manhattan Bridge, the Lincoln Tunnel. Whatever's happening, it is not safe. We need to move. Rob picks up his phone. His battery dies because of course it does, and he runs off into the electronics store with all the other looters. And Hud's just like, dude, the store's closed.
Yeah.
Don't.
I think the store is closed.
Yeah. So
Yeah, so he
goes
runs in to get a battery so I can call Beth. And I'm like, fucking...
I have opinions, yes.
Yeah. It's basically, like how many lives do you want to risk to get your girlfriend, your girl? But he does give them an ultimatum. But yeah, anyhow.
He does. So he's in there. Everybody ends up in there.
Lily and Miranda wait outside, and Hud's like, I'll go get him. You wait here. So they're all inside.
Yep. So Hud's trying to get him to leave. He's frantically. But then, of course, we see the news reports. So everyone sort of stops and sees the news reports.
Everyone stops looting for a second, holding their...
they're all like got their like armfuls of TVs.
And they're all staring up at the news.
Yep.
And I like this because it always shows what's going on, but it's just like whatever's like attacking the city just moves out of camera shot or into a
Just at the
shadow.
right time.
You only get a tiny bit each time, unless you're salivating for more.
Well, you want to tease, which is great because the $25 million budget probably did not include a full scale like whatever it is.
Oh, it does it though.
But it does.
Anyway, 25 million is not much, is it? Yeah,
it's like a micro budget now, considering.
Yeah, that 25 million is like
Yeah. So we get the news of there's something on the bridge or there's something here, and the army have started rolling in for a mandatory evacuation. Everybody is getting evacuated. And then there's we get this other news report on another TV screen, which is conveniently playing next to SpongeBob, which I loved.
Yeah.
And we get this look from the ground, the army descending upon this creature, and they're like, there's something coming off of
There's
it.
something, yeah. Reports say that there's something falling off of the they call it something like it's the unidentified like threat or something like that. And we see these little like blobs hitting the ground, and then they kind of like and scurry off, and I'm like, fuck off. You know what I mean?
So they're like these little parasitic crab monsters that look very similar to Starship Troopers.
Yeah, Starship Troopers. I called them crab spiders.
Yep.
Imagine like a tiny Starship Trooper monster, but more kind of
vicious,
rounded instead of angular. And they make the best noises. They go.
Yeah, I love the sounds that they make as well. I'm like, well, this kind of takes me out of the threatening. Like, I feel that if they weren't making those cute little sounds, I'd be like, this is terrifying.
But we see the crab spiders on the news report running, and they're super agile and quick, and they jump onto all these soldiers and knock them down, and you're like, and HUD's like, it's fucking time to go.
Yeah, we got to go now.
Yeah, it's not only just this big threat of this lumbering mess. Now there are like tactical little fast movers around.
Little teeny tiny threats.
Tiny threats everywhere. Yeah, Rob gets his phone battery in, and there's a voicemail from Beth left on there. And basically all we get from that is like, help me, I'm hurt, I'm bleeding.
I'm trapped, I can't move. Yeah.
And then Rob is just like, fuck, I gotta go get the girl I love.
Yeah, so he's just like, oh, look, and we've got to go get her. And HUD's just like, dude, we can't. We've got, like, I get it. We've got to go. Like, this is not, what, he's the voice of reason. Like,
yeah, so at this point, they've left the electronics store. They've met up with Lily and Marlena. They're walking down an alley. Everyone is running in the opposite direction because Beth's apartment, as we saw at the start, is right at fucking Central Park.
Yeah.
Like what that we saw. So they basically have to go back into the center of Manhattan. So Rob's like, I'm going to go get her.
Yeah.
And so, and this is the part where he gives them an ultimatum where he's like, he goes like, I'm not crazy. I'm not hysterical. This is me being normal. I'm making the decision to go get Beth. You do not have to come with me. Go over there. There is a fucking place, an out. There's the army. They're taking people out. Go.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go get Beth. And they're like, no, we're best friends.
Yeah, we're
Why would Marlena come along?
This together. Fucking idiots.
And Marlena just comes because she has enough fucking...
Well, she's in shock still, so I think she just wants to be...
With people she knows.
So they start heading in the opposite direction, people passing them by. We get this poor Ukrainian man stops HUD and he's talking at him, but HUD's just like, I don't understand.
I'm sorry, I don't understand. He's bleeding and
which is quite sad. And then we get the Clover, the monster steps out.
We get a foot.
And we see... Sorry?
We get a foot.
We just get a foot. We don't get much. We get a foot, and the army comes from behind.
This is rad. Yeah. So this is rad. So we see, like, they're kind of moving and they're talking, and then we see this big foot come down and smash down, which booms everything, and everything stops, and they stop and panic, and then from behind we see a rocket come through and hit the thing.
Yeah.
And I remember this being so loud in the cinema, and it was so fucking cool. Everyone kind of panics, and then the army rolls from behind. A fucking tank rolls up and fires. Everyone's hiding like on the side of the street. The team kind of split up.
Yep. So 2 on one side, 2 on the other side.
Hiding behind a car, and you just see the army.
They light it up in a blaze of heavy firepower. They're shooting at it. There's rockets. There's this. There's that.
It's so exciting.
Fucking everything's happening. So they start running, and I think Rob makes the move to be like, subway. We're going into the subway.
There's a subway entry just there.
So they all run down into the subway stairs, and HUD, of course, he fucking tumbles down the stairs, and the camera glitches out again. It is completely abandoned down there.
Oh, well, would you be catching a train?
Well, that's right.
You can hear all the fighting happening on the surface.
It's all happening. Like all the dust is falling from the ceiling. Yeah. Like you can feel and hear the rumbles, the sounds, and everything. This is done so well.
Yeah, there's like a battle. There's like a Godzilla battle happening above them.
Literally above them.
Which is what I like. That's why I like the film. It's like the ground level of like a Godzilla attack.
Yeah.
You look at that Godzilla film that came out recently, in Kong fighting in that city, and like you don't see anyone.
No.
But
there's that one dude on the corner filming this with his buddies going, we're going to sell this for millions.
Yeah.
For millions. Rob, this has not perturbed Rob at all. He is still adamant that they are going to go find Beth.
I was like, this is a 6. And he goes, I don't think the trains are running, Rob. He goes, no, we can walk the tracks.
Yep. And then Rob he just has a man tantrum as well. Like he is just so mad and just so
adamant to get to Beth.
Like,
and then
I don't care.
No, we have to wait
until
that shit dies down up the top there. We can't just, like, the collapse, tunnels could collapse, anything. Let's just wait. Let's just wait till it calms down a bit. So we got, like, so he decides to wait for a little while. As
that's happening, we sort of hear and feel the monster passing over them, and Rob's phone rings, and it's his mum. And this
is fucked, this scene.
This is horrible. So he tries to just be like, oh, look, we're okay. It's fine. We're being evacuated. We're getting out. And then he
says, oh, you saw it in the news? Yeah, we were at the bridge when that happened.
Yep. He's like, no, it's okay. And then he kind of just breaks down and he's like, Jason's dead.
So he had to tell his mum that his son's dead. And it's fucked. It's like a real quiet... I've written, fuck, this is heavy right here. Because there's so much adrenaline happening as well. And then it hits you with this and you're like...
Yeah.
You kind of got a high adrenaline from just seeing that army bit. And then all of a sudden you're given this like shattering family bit. And you're like, I'm upset now because I've replaced my adrenaline with sadness.
Yeah.
And you get adrenaline sadness.
You're like hyper sad. So then we get this like Hud sort of stays back while Lily goes over and can comfort
it finally
him.
all catches up with Rob and he starts crying.
Yeah. Hud sits next to Marlena and he's just like, I feel I should go say something, but I don't know what to say. What do I say? And of course, the light starts to flicker, and Marlena just starts talking about how she's not even meant to be here. She's like, I'm not even meant to be here.
She's like being clerks.
I was meant to go meet my friends. And then,
yeah, not in Manhattan.
Like, you're a dickhole, Marlena, sure, whatever. But then Rob, he pulls it together. He comes up with a plan. They're very close by. They could walk the tunnels.
Yeah, he goes like, look at this. This is the 6. This goes straight to Beth's house. We can just walk the tunnels and then we'll pop up and we'll be right there. Yeah. And like, avoid all the thing. And they're like, okay. Begrudgingly.
So they jump down into the tunnels and
it's
they
very
walk.
Dark.
And then it's absolutely pitch black until Rob basically turns on the camera light.
Yeah, he goes, use the light on the camera so we can see. So you put the light on. Just a normal light, not like those old cameras had the night vision.
Yes. So they're sort of just walking through. Just normal walking, and Hud starts talking about the ocean. He's just like, it could have come from the ocean. The ocean is vast. It could be anything. Marlena starts acting like a dick again. And then Hud once again starts talking about, he's like, do you guys remember that news report about the homeless man in the subways that was setting people on fire?
And they're like, God, fuck, man. Just
like, dude.
Not now. And yeah.
But honestly, that would be me. I would be that person making those
panic talk?
Yeah, it's panic talk.
And yeah, they hear a sound and they're like, they look around and they're like, what's that? What's that? Can you hear that? And suddenly they look down and there's a rat. And they're like, oh, rat. Yeah. And there's more rats and more rats and more rats. And then they're like, we're running. And they're like, Hud's like, what are they running from? And then they kind of look at each other and they're like, we should run as well. If rats are running, there's something down here. Because they've already know that there's like little goblins running around.
So they're like, okay, like these, like you can hear these like weird screeching sounds that aren't the rats as well. And they're like, okay, stop. Shh, don't make a sound. And then they turn on the night vision.
Yeah, no, this is great. Like, Rob goes like, dude, put on the night vision. He goes, where's the night vision? He goes, here. And we see the shot of a kind of like Rob fumbling with the camera and like turning on the night vision, which, makes a little beep noise. And he takes his hand away from it. And, because it's night vision, it's all whited out. And it slowly fades in. And we see on the ceiling some of these little fucking crab monsters. And it's right because their eyes are doing that reflective thing.
So they're all white?
Yeah, and I'm like... This bit may be the best looking CG I have ever seen in my life. This bit looks 100% real. I couldn't believe it when I first saw it. I was like, that's real. Apparently they did it with rubber puppets at first and it looks stupid. And they I know, but I'm completely fine with this CG because this looks 100%.
Because it's flawless,
We see the crab spiders. They run and they're like, run! Crab spiders!
So they start to run. One attacks Lily and then one starts attacking Hud.
They start fighting them off. Right? And this is all like dusty and like...
It's all happening.
There's a light... And whilst Hud is running, he turns the the night vision off. So we've
Yeah.
just got this torchlight shot of this stuff. So we see close-ups of the monster going in their faces, and they make that noise.
I love that sound.
Yeah.
And then, so he starts being attacked. He's on the ground. Marlena comes out of nowhere
With a
and
pole.
she starts fighting one off of him. And then she is immediately attacked. Like, I'm talking like it
One
jumps
on her.
It like essentially bites her or does something.
bites her shoulder with it.
Fucks her up. And everyone starts running for it again.
Yeah, they kick it off of her and they pick her up and they run into like a service door, which is like just on the side of the thing, and they they close the door, fighting the crabs off. And the crabs are scratching at the door, and they lock it at the big fucking steel tunnel door.
Yeah.
And they're all and they're like, whew.
You know, Hud sits there. We get this shot of Hud as he's like.
Oh, and also
wiping
while
off
this is
the
all
screen.
happening, a blood splat hits the camera, and it's and we kind of get a little cut to back to April 27th, the month earlier. Rob and Beth going to Coney Island on the train, happy again. So and then the cut back to May 22nd. And that's when Hud's like, he would have been checking the footage to see. I think he would have watched to see what they were.
Yep.
But he doesn't say that, which is kind of cool. But you get the assumption that he's gone back and went, what the fuck were those?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I got him on camera, so let's go.
So yeah, Marlene is absolutely fucked up. She's kind of like sitting at this desk and she's just, she just is messed up. Rob breaks into a vending machine, grabs out a bunch of water, and Hud kind of comes over and he sits down.
We see the bite though first,
Yeah,
and
we
it's
do.
deep.
She's
It's
like-
it's like about it's a good 20 centimeters long gouge out of her back, like a cut,
Yeah.
and it's like fucking deep, and it's bleeding. The black blood.
Yeah. That's the
inner blood.
That's the deep blood.
The deep blood.
Yeah. And she's kind of like actually pretty. She's jokey about it. She's like, "Do I still look hot?" kind of thing. And that's a joke coming out of her, not like a.
But she still fucks it up with Hud's like, "Oh, thanks for coming back from and helping me." And she goes, "What, do you think I'm the kind of person who wouldn't do that?" And I'm like, "Fuck you." I would be like, "No, I was just fuck you." I would be like, "Yeah, bleed to death, you dickhead."
And he thanks her, and he's being genuine to her, and she just still acts like that. But we get this scene directly after where Hud he approaches Rob, and he's like, "Look, she's really badly hurt. We need to come up with a new plan. So we've got 3 choices. We can die here, die in the tunnels, or die in the streets." So they basically want to leave the service area that they are and head straight back up into the streets and make their way out
They
there.
go topside. And they come up inside of a department store.
Yeah.
Well, that would have been the service tunnels probably that they were using.
Yeah.
And so we're in like a Macy's.
Yeah, it's like this weird thing, but it is illuminated. It is
haberdashery.
It's the haberdashery section. But there is this illuminated light on them. It's like this huge spotlight as they're walking out.
Melena's looking like a piece of shit now.
She
She's lost her blood.
And she's just like,
oh, I feel stizzy. Because you would.
It's like she's losing a lot of blood. She's in shock. Like, she'd be very dehydrated at this
She's
point.
very
as well.
white looking, yeah.
She's very pale, yeah.
And
as she says that, the army bursts through and descend on them, and they're like, "Okay, well, let's just fucking move out."
Yeah, come over here. We're gonna set up base.
Yeah. They lead them into this like weird medical.
It's like a temp bay base.
like
army men. There's army men happening. There's people in suits. There's like science happening. There's medical happening.
Everything's happening in there.
It's basically where they take ET when ET gets sick.
Yeah, very much so. And Rob immediately, rather than tending
Help my
to
friend.
Beth, to Marlena, he starts asking about Beth's location. He's like, she's here. I need you to come help me. And they're like, "Nah, you don't want to go there. You don't want to go there."
Yeah, because they're like, the army man yells out to everyone, like, 15 minutes, people, we're going to pack up and get out of this place in 15 minutes because they're doing a
Rack 'em and pack 'em. We are phantoms in 15 because there is an evac chopper coming through. And then we see that they've got a few of the creatures, the dead creatures, the
on
crab
a table,
monsters on a table.
The graboids.
They look the graboids. They look really cool.
They got a couple of eyes and stuff, a couple of sets of eyes.
It looks great. Rob starts pleading with them about getting out to look for Beth.
And they're like, "No, we're not."
They're just like, "Well, we're not going to go with you, but we're
That's
also
right into
not
the
going to let you go because
Yeah.
that would be irresponsible of us."
And they're like, "You don't want to go there."
No.
Like, that's...
It's like, this is madness. You're mad. as this is happening, Marlena just sort of starts saying, Hud, I don't feel so good. He turns and she is
bleeding out of her eyes.
She is white as a sheet. She's bleeding from her nose, mouth, and eyes. And then as she drops, one of the medic team grabs her and they start screaming, "Fucking bite!
We've got a bite!"
They absolutely grab her
Panic
and
breaks
drag
out.
her off. And then we get this silhouette.
Yeah, we see a bit of like panic happening first. There's a bit of like, you know, there's all these people rushing because the camera's getting knocked around and shit. But yeah, and then we see kind of like, they're like, where are they taking it? We hear Hud going, where are they taking it? Where are they taking it? At the same time, like Rob is still arguing with the fucking army man about, let me out and go get my girlfriend. I don't care about my other friends. They can all fucking die. Anyhow, yeah, so, and when we see like Melina take it into a tent, which is lit from behind, so it's all silhouetted. And then we just see Melina's silhouette suddenly go giantly fat and explode and splat blood all over the inner of the tent.
Yeah. I'm like, well, look.
Such a shocking moment. And it happens in seconds.
Surprising as well. Like, I mean, I guess they wouldn't have had the budget to do that in the middle of the street.
I think it was better.
But no, this was so much better because we didn't need to see it. But we know what's happened. And we're still fucked up by it. So, you know. Yeah,
wicked. Anyhow, they fucking get pulled out into a hallway because they're still causing panic. And this army man is like, look, fuck. He goes like, we're not going to help you. You're obviously going to go get your girlfriend.
Yeah.
Go get her. Just be back by the chopper. With it. Like, he goes like, you know, go here at this point. They say someplace in Manhattan.
It's like, synchronize your watches, fellas.
Synchronize swatches. And he goes, at 6 a.m. the chopper's going to take off. If you're not there, they're going to go. And the army is thinking of letting this area go. And he goes, well, what, downtown? He goes, no, Manhattan.
Yeah, the government are considering the Hammer Down protocol.
Hammer down.
They're
basically going to destroy all of Manhattan if they can't contain fucking big cunt.
Yep. So they have until 0600 to get to the chopper.
Get to the chopper. I called it a chopper the whole way through because I can be riding helicopter.
They're out now in the streets. Hud is completely
hard cut. Yeah, they're going now. They're up and about.
I got mad as well because Hud clearly liked her and he is clearly upset by the fact that she has died. And Rob, he's just like,
driven.
You don't have time to be sad about this, Hud. Just suck it up. Suck it up.
Yeah, like I'm sucking it up. Oh, hang on, I'm not. I'm just risking everyone's lives to get my girlfriend back.
Fucking
who's not my girlfriend, who we had an argument with and is now going out with some other douchebag who had greasy hair. Anyhow, they come down the road and we see like there's like two giant towers and one of them has like kind of crumpled a bit and it's leaning against the other one and Hud's like, that's not best building, is it? Oh, it's fucking best building, isn't it?
Don't suppose she lives on the ground floor. Nope, 39th. And then Hud's like, oh, well, you know, we could go up the other building and cross over. And he's like, it's a great idea.
He goes, oh, yeah, we can go up the other building because it's higher than the other one and get onto the roof and get into the other building. And then he's like, yeah. And he goes, no, that's a bad idea.
I take it back.
Anyhow, they go in there. Of course, the elevator doesn't work, so they start, and then they're going up the other building now.
Oh my god! So then they have to climb the stairs. I would have done like 2 flights of stairs and be like, you know what? You're on your own.
Yeah.
I could have.
How many was it? 49 or?
It's like 39 flights of stairs or something.
Fuck that.
I would have just been like, look, I've been with you this whole way. I've watched this, and this. I risked my life. I'm out. I'm not walking any more stairs. So they start descending the stairs and. Hud starts talking again and he's just like, the army don't know what it is, and Lily's like, does it matter? And he's just like, I gotta talk about something or I'm gonna shit my pants in this stairwell.
Yeah, I like that. Did you see the looks on their faces? They have no idea what this is.
Yeah. And I mean, yeah, I get it. I get where Hud's coming from. That poor bloody bastard.
And they hear some wind, like, and they're like, this must be the floor. Then, Rob runs out, comes back and goes, no, it's the next one up. Let's go the next one up. So they go the next one up. We have them walking through a hole. It's kind of cool because, they kind of find, like, where the build... We can see... They walk into this apartment and we can just see the windows smashed out and you can just see the other building's roof leaning up against it. I'm like, that's a set.
Yep.
That's fucking wicked.
Mm-hmm. So they cross over... And as they're crossing over, the fighter jets are starting to come over again.
And it's all very scary because it's on a massive angle.
Yeah, so A, they're on a massive angle. B, they're up so fucking high that it would be windy and cold as shit. You've got fighter pilots going up over you, which
jets
are
are
so loud.
And there's all this other shit happening.
You would be shitting your
Yeah,
pants.
and also the building could fall down at any time.
Yes.
And they could just slip down and probably fall down through the cracks and shit. So it's a super sketchy thing. And yeah, they get through that. Mm-hmm. They get into the emergency exit, the top door, and then they go down down the stairway into Beth's floor. And this is kind of cool because you can see them walking, but the whole building's on its side.
But it's so hard. So they're really fighting with the gravity to get to the door. And of course, like Rob, he starts kicking it down, and HUD's like, do you need a hand? Do you need help? So they kick down the door. They go in and they find Beth, and she's impaled. There is like a
bit
rod.
of Rio.
Yeah.
A Rio rod through a chest, like her shoulder.
It's just like the shoulder part of her.
I don't care what you say. You would never. That's like being shot.
Yeah.
With a bullet that thick.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's like wakes up and she's like, oh fuck. She doesn't realize what's happened to her.
So she's
not
still
dead.
alive. HUD puts the camera down, and it's just off screen. So they pull her off of this rod, but we don't see it.
We hear her come off. It's like.
Yeah, and it's just like her screaming.
And then she recovers faster than anyone's ever recovered in the history of anything. She's just like, oh, my shoulder. Let's go.
Yeah. Oh, you know what the problem was? That rod in my shoulder.
Yeah,
now that it's not there, perfect. Not a problem.
There's bits later on where she's like reaching up for shit. I'm like, you would have not been reaching for anything with having a rod through your shoulder.
No. So then we hear the sounds of the monster growling, and it's heading. You can see it.
Yeah, because now they're back onto the roof.
Building.
They're back up onto the roof,
Yeah.
and we see the monster kind of for the first time here.
Yeah.
We see it running, but it's kind of running down the street. Well, not running, walking down the street, hitting into buildings. There's tanks firing at it and shit. It's yelling. Wow! The whole city's blacked out as well because, it's fucked up everything.
Yeah, it's even better. And HUD's basically like, it's time to go. It's time to go. We gotta go. And of course,
Rob's basically carrying Beth across this bit as well because she's decides that she is a bit wounded.
Yes. So the jets are flying. You can see the jets flying over. They're lighting up they're like dropping bombs or rockets or whatever it is onto the Clover, the monster, and it's doing nothing, like absolutely nothing. So they start running down. So
they get back into the other building now, which is a straight one. They're running down the stairs, and of course they come into a room, and whoa, there's a spider crab.
Yeah. But that's all right because there's an axe right there, and Rob smashes it, grabs the axe.
Fire axe makes sense.
And axes it in the
face. And this is great as well because it's like he axes it, and it still is alive, and it's clunking around like clunk, clunk, like the axe handle. Like,
which is cool.
And this is all happening, like I said, found footage the whole way through.
Exactly. And they are now back out into the streets. The monster, it's definitely close by. The choppers are flying over. We see them trying to run through this thing. They turn, they see a tank, and they see the tank immediately get stepped on and crushed like it is nothing.
Yeah.
It's like a giant Lego piece to this fucking thing.
It's a great long shot with them running to the chopper because he keeps on. It's like a forward running thing to the chopper, but he keeps like looking to the side to see what's going on, and we see all these like little events happening, like the tank getting trodden on, rocket launchers flying around, and all stuff like that.
Yeah.
Anyhow.
So they get to the chopper. They load Lily up into the chopper, shut the door, and they're like, "Wait, what? Well, they're like, "No, you guys are in the next one. It's okay. It's okay."
So hers is full.
So Lily goes up with the army guys. Obviously, it is getting closer. It's getting closer. This is starting to get like, oh, we're so close. They get in the chopper, goes up, and they can see from below. And HUD.
So the monster comes around the corner fighting the army. Like HUD, Rob, and Beth.
Yep.
Get into the chopper and take off. And I've written here Beth, who has clearly forgotten that she was impaled earlier because she's just pushing her hair out of her eyes and stuff with the arm. Like, I don't know that they're in the chopper now. They're up. They're kind of in safety.
It's so good. We're almost there.
And HUD's like filming out down below. He can see the battle going on, the army taking on the monster. And this is where you get to see the monster.
Yeah.
It's pretty high up, and I think it's enough.
This looks so good as well because it's like they're above it, and they just start dropping bombs.
A stealth bomber comes over
Yeah.
and like blank and carpet bombs the monster.
Yeah.
And you see the bombs coming down the street like do 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 and hit the monster, and the monster's like fuck.
Yeah, and of course, once again, we get all that dust and debris come up, and HUD's like, "Yeah, fucking light it up! Yeah,
We got him, we got him."
They got it. Just as that happens, we get this giant mouse.
I thought it was an arm
I thought it was a mouse.
or something.
Something.
The monster kind of, I think he gets up out of the cloud and a part of the monster bonks into the helicopter, and then we get this spinning, falling down to earth. Whoop, 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 whoop. You know, everyone's screaming.
Yeah, HUD's doing a lot of the screaming.
I'd be screaming. I wouldn't.
I would.
No, I've got a fear of flying things. Every time there's something in a film, it just crashes.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
And then we see, like, you know, the crashes. They're going down, and then camera glitch to nothing.
Big camera.
And then and then you know, camera starts up again, and there's just a close-up shot of what we can just see, like leather seating.
Yep. So
saying a bit of the chopper. It's very close up.
the chopper's crashed. That seems like everyone's kind of like out of it or something. We hear this radio head over saying 15 minutes initiating hammer down.
Yeah, target not down. Initiate hammer down.
Yep.
So we're like, uh-oh, that didn't work, obviously.
Yep. So HUD gets
And
up.
now it's morning.
Yes, it is.
So this whole thing,
now.
we forgot to mention this is all done at night.
Guys, this is all done at night.
Yeah. It is now officially morning. They clearly, because it was 6 a.m. they got to the thing, so it's probably like an hour. They might have been knocked out for like 20 minutes or half an hour or something
maybe.
like that. And it's morning light now.
Yep. So HUD, he gets up, and then Beth gets
Beth
up.
is fine, because, you know, it's heaps. If you're American, you can just survive, crashes.
She's just like, I've done worse at yoga lattes.
Yeah.
You know, he's still out of it. So they
He's
pull Rob out to safety. And they're like, we've got to go. And as HUD picks up the camera, there's like
they're kind of running,
scream.
and then he's like, dude, I got to get the camera. He runs back, picks up the camera, and we see Beth and Rob go, whoa! And they're like, their cartoon eyes come out of their head.
Yeah. Which, I'm sorry, they're in a big sort of fielded area, and HUD did not see this giant fucking thing.
Yeah, he turns around and we
see
see that HUD is now under the big monster, as in the legs are both side of him, and we have the monster look down at HUD. I don't think this is the same monster.
No.
Time has passed.
Yep.
This is way too small.
Yep.
I think this is a different one, or a small version, or a baby one, a babyer one.
Yes. Could be. It looks great. I love this scene.
It's like breathing through like sponges in its head and stuff, which I don't think the other one was doing.
No.
Ever.
No, I don't think so. But it kind of like, it looks down
at HUD. He's like, hello.
It's kind of like doing this breathing thing. It's like sussing him up. It's sizing him up. And then it just basically goes, no. It just grabs HUD, picks him up, kind of shakes him about a little bit.
We see all this from POV.
Oh, yeah.
And then we hear Rob and Beth scream, oh, no!
Yeah. And, I mean, his head went that way, and his legs went that way. So we get this camera shot of just HUD laying on the ground. Yeah,
because the camera falls, you hear go, hits the ground, and we see HUD fall in frame. And we get this kind of a long shot of like because this is very cool. Yep. It's focusing on the grass in front of it, then on HUD's face, and then the background. But the background is fake because it's a destroyed New York.
Yeah,
a destroyed Manhattan. So it's kind of like trying to pull focus on these things. Like,
can't quite figure out.
And
what
it looks very good because it's a full effect.
Yeah,
as in like there's no real Manhattan there on fire. But as I said, they went all out.
That's right. Rob comes up, he grabs the camera, they just leave HUD as is, and they start running.
We can only assume that the monsters ran away.
Yeah.
Or just went. It didn't see them or care.
Disappeared into the darkness.
There's definitely a different one in my opinion, because the one that was huge wouldn't even notice a person. It wasn't even noticing tanks.
Yeah, it was just...
It was as big as skyscrapers. It wouldn't notice one human and then pick it up and eat it. It'd be like me going, ooh, look, a sugar ant. And then going down to eat it.
Yeah, no, that's fair. So they've got the camera. Beth and Rob, they go and run. So they are in Central Park. They run under a bridge, which is where they hold each other close. There is bombs going off in the background. The monster is screaming. It seems like it's very close by.
And Operation Hammerdown's about to happen. We hear the
sirens start going off, like that terrifying sound. And they're just like, okay, there's nowhere to go. Like, we have nothing. Like, what are we going to do? We just need to wait here until someone finds us. Rob looks at the camera and he starts like, my name is Robert Hawkins, blah, 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 blah.
He goes, it's somewhat, if you find this footage, you're probably going to know more about this than we do. But and he starts naming off the people that have died. So there's like a record. Like,
and then
like Beck talks about Hard and Melina and
Lily. Lily's
brother.
still alive. Yeah. And then of course he puts the camera on to Beth and she's like, okay, I don't even know what to say. My name is Elizabeth McIntyre. And just as this happens, there is this bomb blast hits them. And then
they get killed basically.
They basically get killed
by humans.
Yeah.
The bomb blast. Yeah, it kind of like.
So the camera is just sort of focused on all these rocks and debris.
Yeah, basically the camera gets covered in rubble, and then we just hear muffled voices. It's like, look at me, I love you, and she's like, I love you, and then explosion to glitch to the end.
Yeah.
And then it cuts back.
Yes.
To the most important footage in the film.
That's right. Cut to April 27, 6:17 p.m. Coney Island on top of the Ferris wheel overlooking the ocean. And
we have Rob and Beth talking.
Yeah, they're talking. They're like, oh, we've got about 3 seconds before the camera cuts out. Like, what have you got to say? She's just like, I had a good day.
Are you going to say the bit?
Yeah, I was going to leave that up to you.
In the background, which I didn't notice until my 5th viewing of this film, there is you see a meteorite in the very corner of the screen come down and land in the ocean.
Yep.
So this is 1 month before this all happened. So it's clearly an ocean. It's a space monster.
Yep.
And it's come down and it's growing in Manhattan Harbor. What's that place called?
America.
Where the Statue of Liberty is.
Yeah, Liberty Island.
Yep. Freeze frame. End. No music credits or anything. Just like the credits go for they say 15.
It's like 15 minutes or something.
Of just like really slow moving 17-minute credits or something like that.
Yeah, it was insane.
So some fun facts. Wait, where are my fun facts gone?
They're
after your notes.
Oh, I apologise for my notes.
No, I mean because it's right at the very end. You don't delete your notes like I do.
No, I put them in another file and then I delete them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So some weird fun facts. I've said a couple. The film is exactly 80 minutes, which is the length of a mini DV tape, a common format used by the consumer camcorders. What are your final thoughts? Oh, no, let's do some facts about it first.
You want to do some facts?
There's so many, hey.
Oh, my God, there were so many. So the first trailer for this movie played before Transformers in 2007. It showed a giant explosion in the heart of New York City and the Statue of Liberty's head being thrown down a street. It was shot with a handheld video recorder and there was no title.
So the whole vibe of this film is that it had viral marketing.
Yes.
So it didn't have like trailers.
No.
I mean, the first thing I heard about it was just advertised as a date. It was just like, I don't know, it was like the 6th of the 6th or whatever. I don't know what it was, what the date or whatever. And then it just had a whole bunch of like weird websites sprung up about it. They did like 4 or 5 fake websites, and this is in the MySpace days as well. And then all of a sudden, all the characters that were in the film, they had their own MySpace account, so as if they were real people.
Yeah.
With shit going on, and it was all backdated to like getting ready for the party, and really thought out stuff. All the websites were like weird. They linked to like videos of like the characters that were at the party that had like one shot. It was like all about them and stuff. And so this really like kind of like instilling that this was real.
Yep.
Like, and I love this shit. Like,
well, because it was one of the first things that you said to me. It was like, they had the MySpace pages and you were telling me all about it. I actually found them and posted them on our Instagram, which was really cool as well. So you thoroughly enjoyed that one. So the film had no music score, and the music for the end credits does not begin until 1 minute and 30 seconds after the credits start rolling. And it is just one song, and I think I can't even remember what it was called. I should have looked it up.
There's like the Dharma Initiative logos in there, which is like the place from the Lost series. That's the research facility. That's on. Lost? Why is that tied into it? Did what's his name have anything to do with Lost? Is that his thing?
I don't know. Never watched Lost.
J.J. Abrams?
Yeah, J.J. Abrams does Lost.
Yeah, because this is one of his films.
But- Gross.
What are some other ones? So they have the MySpace pages.
Yeah. So all the Jamie and all of the main characters had the MySpace pages, and the producers made these pages to advertise. The characters last logged into them on January 18th, 2018, the film's release date.
Also, Hud's character's height went from 6'2" to 2'6". Like, have they got bitten in half?
Yeah. That seems like something that TJ Miller would have done, because despite him being a bit of a dick, he is quite funny.
Apparently, because everyone was like, "What is it? What is it? What is it?" They kept really tight-lipped about it for a long time. But
You would have to.
Yeah, eventually they, the creature designer said that the monster was a baby in a new environment, spooked and looking for its mother.
Yeah, that sounds right.
I thought it was like,
So it could have been a baby and mother, and they were separated trying to find each other,
yeah.
which would explain why you've got that one that's bitten Hud in half and the ones that's over there.
Yeah, and maybe the little ones that go off of it. I think they were just parasites that live on it, like a symbiotic relationship. Like,
Yeah, like the little Godzillas that were going to drop off of Godzilla.
what were they?
In Shin Godzilla.
Oh, dripping Godzillas. So yeah, there was a whole bunch of and also the promotional websites like jamieandteddy.com, you actually had to put a password in to get into the site. And yeah, so people had to find the password, and it showed video logs made by the title couple and their relationship. I don't know what that means. One guy was seen unconscious on the couch, and it was just about him. Just weird stuff like that.
Sure. Yeah, like this I kind of wish that I was more aware of that marketing campaign at the time, because that would have been so cool just to be involved with. And about 104 recorded people were said to have left the theatre due to motion sickness.
Unbelievable. That's so good.
Really? That's a lot of...
That is a lot of people.
That is a lot.
There's a whole... it goes on and on and on and on.
There is so much. I will stop being lazy, and I will do some trivia and post some trivia, because I feel that there's just so much that should be thoughts.
What are your final thoughts, though?
All right. This film is definitely an under-the-radar film for me. The first time I watched it was actually with you.
Did you know about it before it?
I knew about it, but not to the extent that I did now, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And because I watched it with you and you love this film, it just made my viewing experience so much better. And I honestly don't think I'd watched it. I might have watched it once since. So it was really good to be able to revisit this for this thing, because you get super excited about that and there's all these fun facts. I thought it was shot incredibly well. The acting is fantastic. Because
using No Name as kind of as well worked really well.
Yeah. So, I mean, Lizzie Kaplan's, she's probably gone on to do the best out of all of them. Maybe TJ Miller as well. I don't know. So there's like this level of emotion that these people are experiencing. And like, I do 100% completely understand why Rob needed to go to get to Beth, but I fucking hated him for it. I thought he was such a selfish prick.
People are selfish in high situations. So.
It's true, because, you know, that age-old Star Wars, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, but, you know, he basically doomed his friends, and they were all willing to go along with it.
This film is the film I've seen in the cinema the most. I saw it 4 times in the cinema.
Wow.
Just because I wanted to take my friends to see their reactions.
Yep.
It just takes the idea of found footage and turns it up to like 1,000. Like, it's crazy. The only thing that's on kind of par with it, which I don't think is even on par, is Chronicle. Have you seen that?
I haven't seen Chronicle.
Chronicle's great, which is kind of like a bunch of found footage kids who get superpowers.
Yeah.
It's just great. The use of the character development through the taped over footage, I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
And as someone who's owned a lot of DV cameras, it fully does that. Every time you stop it and try and do something and start again, you get that little snippet of like what was taped underneath.
Yeah.
It's some of the realest CG I've ever seen. Like the attack in the tunnel is just there. And then
I was looking at a lot of the behind the scenes footage, and most of it is shot on a green screen.
Nice.
Yeah. So it's
didn't even notice that.
No, I didn't notice.
Nah.
Yeah. What did you give it?
I gave it... What did I give it?
Did you rate it?
I forgot to rate it.
Oh, no. Well, while you're thinking about that, I gave this a U. I felt that this is probably an underrated film that everyone should just definitely check out. Put it on your radar.
Definitely an underrated film. It's definitely a Dan special because I just fucking loved it. But it's just an underrated film that not enough people have ever watched. It's also a classic worth a watch, I suppose, as well, when you put it like that.
We're getting there.
It's getting there. How many years is that?
2008, so we're talking, 10 years?
Yeah.
10, 12, something? Yeah.
It's also a beer and chicken wings group movie. I reckon
Yes,
it's great to watch.
That's how I watched it with you. We were having some
beers
and wings.
It's great to watch with someone to see their reaction, especially if there's some like quite shocking bits, and you always want to find that person. I'm actually watching it with Braden pretty soon. He's never seen it or doesn't know anything about it. So Braden, who of Millennial Movie Talk and of Greenlight Comics.
I love Braden.
Yeah, he doesn't know anything about it, so he's going to just watch it like a spring chicken.
This would be good. I like
beer
that.
and spring chicken wings.
Fantastic. Well, for next week, I have decided that we are going to check out Eli Roth's directorial debut of Cabin Fever from 2002. Not to be confused with the remake from 2016. This is the 2002 version with Ryder Strong.
I don't know who that is. I have seen this, but I cannot remember one thing. I kind of watched it and I didn't like it because I thought it was going to be like Evil Dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it just wasn't.
It just wasn't. Yeah. So I get that. So Cabin Fever 2002.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm kind of into this one. I should have given it another go and I didn't.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because I went to track it down a couple of years back and I ended up thinking, I'm pretty certain I watched the 2016 version, which is basically a shot-for-shot remake. And I'm like, nah, this is bullshit. So, yeah, Cabin Fever, 2002. So anyway, you have been listening to TerrorVision Horror Podcast with Dan and Jennifer. We are available on all major podcasting services and also on the YouTubes. But no matter where you choose to consume us, please make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment or a review, and share with all your friends. You can interact with us on both Facebook and Instagram at TerrorVision Pod. It'll keep you up to date with upcoming episodes, trivia, and of course memes that are 100% 3 years old by now. We also have an email, terrorvisionpod@gmail.com. And our opening and closing music is Voice Well by Sister Wife.
And remember, until next week, may all your dreams
be nightmares.